ahead, Mr. Westpaul.
Hey, some things audio is off, Fish.
Okay. Oh, it's probably the dingbat.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network, featured on the Roar at 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. We have a super special guest because it's Jeffrey's 21st birthday. Clap it up for the juiciest of Jeffs in the entire world. And I say that as someone who has dated a Jeff in the past, you know? This is a good Jeff.
That's too much information.
Other ones, it's hilarious. Come on, I'm trying to lighten the mood up. Happy birthday, Jeff. Hope you're having a great 21st.
Well, I'm 3 times older than that guy.
Probably.
Welcome, Terry Foster, everyone.
I could be his grandfather.
Blissful Terry.
If you're his grandfather, then I'm his dad.
Yes.
There you go.
We comparing them.
I'm 15 years older than Jeff. What are you talking about?
No, you aren't. You freak me out when you say that because I can't gauge how old Adam is.
He could be his dad, though.
I could be.
If you
100%.
had him when you were, what, 4, 5?
You're never too young to start.
His junk was working at 15, so he could be a dad at 15. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Okay, well, happy birthday to Jeff. I'm glad we have Terry right here with us. But, you guys, the Pistons season opener against the Chicago Bulls is tonight. There will be no Cade Cunningham. Giant bummer. I know Maz is crying right now. But, boys, what are you thinking for the Pistons this entire season? What are you thinking taking on the Bulls? I know that rivalry goes way back. Maybe you can teach me about it, Terry, because I think it goes back to the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, actually, before that, because the Pistons and Kobo, they used to fight. I mean, physical fights, like Bam in the 70s with Dennis Autry and Jimmy Walker and Bob Lanier. I mean, it was bad then. The Pistons were no good, but there's always been a Chicago and Detroit rivalry. But I think it's dead today. It's just 2 teams playing tonight. No big deal.
So what are you thinking going into this game? Do we have a shot at winning?
Sure.
Do we know?
Always have a shot
yet?
at winning the NBA at home, no matter who you are.
Well, that's good.
So I don't think that's important. The important thing is what's the big picture? What are the Pistons going to do this year? And I know there's a lot of enthusiasm in this city. Mm-hmm. And
it's a nice word to use.
They think they can make the playoffs and maybe win a playoff series. I don't think they can make the playoffs this year. There's just not enough team chemistry with this team yet, and I think that's going to be their downfall this season.
They're a young team, young roster. Cade Cunningham isn't playing tonight, so you're going to have to wait on that to see how the number 1 overall pick plays out. Terry, it seems like Detroit, all the sports teams except the Lions right now, are in a really good spot where you have a lot of young core talent. The future, you can at least be optimistic about it. You kind of like what the GMs are doing. You like what Steve Eiserman's been doing. You like what Troy Weaver's been doing. And you look at the Tigers, AJ Hinch has done a phenomenal job as the manager so far his first year. So you expect them to grow next season and the year following. And they got some bats coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got a new floor tonight.
Yep, absolutely. That's
that
true.
Should be exciting.
So we look at the Pistons. I think they win more than 25, 26 games. I think they're somewhere around 29, 30, 31 games.
I think they'll get into the 30s.
Yeah, so they'll be, I think low 30s is fair. I think they'll probably make a move at the trade deadline where they'll ship Jeremy Grant out. Unless, if rumor has it, they're going to make a move for DeAndre Ayton. I'm not sure. It's not a bad deal if you can get him on the cheap.
I wouldn't do that. I would keep Jeremy Grant because you do need
a veteran.
Veteran who can teach these guys and also can play a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, what was he averaging? 22, 23 points last year. He was considered an all-star by some people. Barely missed the all-star team. So it's a very young team. You don't know what you're getting out of Killian Hayes. You don't know if Sadiq Bey is going to take an additional step forward. What's his ceiling look like? Is he, a poor man's Klay Thompson? Is that what he can develop into, or is his game completely different than what I think it is? But he's got to become much more of a sharpshooter this year than a guy who handles the ball, at least long term.
But I think he's the kind of guy that will act as a sponge. These guys, I think they're talented. I think this young core is talented. They just don't have enough experience and enough chemistry. Saddiq Bey seems to be a guy that's willing to be a sponge, and he's willing to improve, and he's willing to put in the extra work. So I think that is encouraging from that standpoint. So, he could be a future leader on this team.
Absolutely. Cade Cunningham, number 1 overall pick, won't be playing tonight, but your expectations for him, just in a vacuum for Detroit. I mean, whenever you take a guy number 1 overall, it's basically you're a Hall of Famer, or it's kind of a waste of a pick.
Right.
I mean, that's the expectation, especially in the NBA, where you get one guy, you're basically competitive for 12, 14 years.
Right. And this guy has to work out because he sparked the enthusiasm in this town. And if he is anything short of being a leader on that team, of being the guy that's going to make everyone else better, I think the thing that people are going to look at is how many points a game does he score, and that's important. But I think the most important thing is when he's healthy, does he make Saddiq Bey a better ball player? Does he make Killian Hayes a better ball player? Does he put them in position to score, to be instead of an 8-point-a-game scorer, make him a 12-point-a-game scorer, something like that? That's going to be what his worth is, because he is not a stone-cold-blooded scorer. He's a facilitator. And so you have to look at that. Is he facilitating to make the Pistons better? And when you look at the next 5 years from him, it's not going to be what his shooting percentage is. It's not going to be how many points a game he scores. The bottom line is going to be how many games do the Pistons win or lose. That's going to be his mark to this team because of the type of game that he plays.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be a huge plus for the team, just given his leadership skills. He's really a lead-by-example guy. He'll facilitate. He'll get his teammates involved. And when it gets down to later in the game, he'll start to take over like we saw him at Oklahoma State. But what's tricky for me, Terry, is you said, the next 3, 4, 5 years, how does this team evolve? I think it actually is going to take that long before they're, maybe a conference contender, because you're talking you need your superstars to enter their prime. Who's the superstar on this team outside of Cade Cunningham, who you expect to be one because, well, you took him number 1 overall? So usually NBA players, unless they're LeBron, unless they're a Luka, unless they're like Trey Young, where they just walk in the league and, they're considered stars. If he doesn't come out and he only puts out 14 points and 7 assists a game, and he's really quiet, and the Pistons are maybe winning a little more games than they used to, is that star material? What do you need to see from Cade Cunningham where you're like, that's a star player?
Yeah. He can't average 14 points a game. It's got to be at least 17 or 18. And also, you talk about superstar. None of these guys are superstars now. And I would be surprised if any of them turned into quote-unquote superstars. And you're talking about making the All-NBA team every year. But I see guys who have potential to be stars, which is a step below.
Yep. Stars would be considered your Luka Doncic, your Damian Lillard, star, not a superstar. Fair?
I think Luka Doncic is
superstar.
A superstar, yeah.
I mean, there's levels to it, and you can make the argument, but I agree with you. Cade Cunningham's got to have a good season, and it's not just like, that's a solid rookie year. No, like, you were taking number 1 overall. And let's just all be real here. Jalen Green's probably going to put up 23, 24 points a game out in Houston because their roster is completely young. It's decimated of any veterans.
How about complete garbage? How about that?
That's a better word for it.
So he's got it.
He's just going to put up numbers.
He might average 25 points a game.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what's going to happen out in Houston. So, try not to look too much around the league. Focus on Cade. What is he providing to the team? Is it something that can translate into a star or superstar player? I mean, we saw this with, the most recent number 1 overall pick example I can give, really, where they walked into the league. The last one I can recall, really, is LeBron. The guy that walked in the league and showcased what he did in high school. Or like, right. I don't think Cade walks in and puts up 20 and 8. I don't see it happening. I think he gets close, but we'll see. Again, he plays for Dwayne Casey. You have Killian Hayes, Jeremy Grant, Saddiq Bey. There's a lot of guys that need to touch the ball. So I'm not sure where I want to put my expectations on Cade
All right,
Cunningham.
here is what I'm going to do. I am going to challenge the enthusiastic Piston fans to be smart. And if you just look at stats with Cade Cunningham, I think you're going to be disappointed this year. But what you must do is see what he's doing to make this team better in regards to setting up teammates, making them better, and making the Pistons a more competitive team. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. I think they'll be close, but I don't think they'll quite make it. But you're going to look at Jalen Green all the time and say, "Well, look at all the points that he's scoring. He's scoring on an awful team." Well, we assume he's going to. We don't know that for sure, but he's going to be a scoring for an awful team. Who cares if you score 30 points a game and you lose 3 out of 4 games?
Yeah, you just become Russell Westbrook.
Right. What you need to do. Oh, that's right. You got this thing for Russell Westbrook.
I can't help myself. I mean, last night, first game with a new team. I'm not going to kill him too much.
I just read a story in the LA Times about him, and he says he's sick and tired of people like you who make assumptions about him. And
I don't make assumptions. I just talk about his game. I think he's a great human, raises a good family, very charitable. Nothing to do with him personally. His game doesn't translate to wins. It's that simple.
Okay.
He can put up all the triple doubles he wants. Yesterday was like prime Russell Westbrook. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, minus 14 on the court, plus minus. A ton of turnovers. Couldn't hit a 3-point shot. I mean, that's who he is. And then tomorrow he'll put up 30, 10, and 10, and everybody will forget about it. And, oh, my God, Russell Westbrook is like one of the best point guards ever. I would take Tony Parker over Russell Westbrook. I would take Chauncey Billups over Russell Westbrook. The guy can't win me basketball games if he's the number one.
I don't think his game translates to winning championships. His game is, there's 2 types of players. There's those that are just stat freaks. Look at me, look how great I am. I know we lost, but I'll tell you a story. One time, the Pistons had just beaten Atlanta, the Atlanta Hawks, with Dominique Wilkins.
Okay.
And this was Dominique Wilkins to me. We were trying to talk to him. He's looking at the stat sheet, and he looks up and says, "Hey, I got mine." I think he scored 25 points, and he had 8 rebounds or something. That's what he did. He scored, but he wasn't about winning. You didn't want Dominique Wilkins taking a jump shot in the last 3 minutes of a game. Mm-hmm. That might be Russell Westbrook. He's the kind of guy that looks up and says, "Hey, I got mine. I don't know what's wrong with the rest of these guys." But he didn't help them win. Yeah, you scored and you got a few rebounds, but it wasn't constructive points when you really needed him.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with Russell Westbrook is he'll give you the whole stat line, and it's unbelievable, great to watch, triple-double king, whatever you want to call him. But when you're building or attempting to build a championship team, that's a guy you don't want on him. Just the guy you don't want on the team. He's played with Kevin Durant. He's played with James Harden. Played with Paul George. He's even played with Bradley Beal to an extent, even though I thought the Wizards were god-awful last year. But the point is, he's proven he can't be the one. Now, in L.A., if he's the number 3, I think, and that's pretty good, I think it can work out. But last night, the Lakers lost the game they shouldn't have lost. Nobody could guard Anthony Davis. Nobody could guard LeBron James, and they somehow blew a lead to Golden State. I mean, Russell Westbrook, I can't help you, man. You are what you are.
All right, brother, let me ask you this question. You're starting your team, and I'm giving you 2 names you got to start your team with.
All right.
Russell Westbrook or James Harden? Where are you going?
I'll take shit. Well, I lose in both scenarios, but I'll take James Harden.
Okay.
I'll take it. I think he's the more efficient player, at least. So they're both very similar, though.
I was going to say I think they're pretty much the same. Yeah. Except Harden, most of the time. I mean, he would
just stop coming into camp 50 pounds overweight, that would be a help. I mean, at least I know Russell Westbrook is going to give me like energy every night. I don't know. They're both the same.
Russell
player.
Westbrook is going to be gangster during games. James Harden will be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yep.
For about a month and a half through the season, so you got to deal with that. I think I'd take Russ because I know
I'm losing either way. So honestly, I'll take one of them and I'll sell the team. So whatever.
Well, but you might draw fans.
Drawing fans, I'll probably take. I think I could pull off the Houston model with James Harden. 5, 6, 7 straight 50-win seasons, meaningless playoff series. But, hey, we're winning 50, 55 games every year.
In this scenario, I'm trying to get you to get some money, to get paid, to earn some money as an owner.
Yeah, I'll take the 5, 6 straight playoff series appearances, whatever you want to call them. I'll take the conference appearances. I mean, Russell Westbrook barely gets me out of the first round, so there's more money in the playoffs to be made. So
Okay.
I'll take
All
my
right.
55-win seasons with James Harden. Kennedy, we got to go to
All
break,
right,
don't
yeah,
we?
we do have to go to break. Up next, we're going to be talking about Taylor Decker. Should he stay or should he go? We'll get into that next. But first, we need to hear about our friends that always keep us cool over at Northwestern Tech.
Well, you know what? Maybe when Russell Westbrook accepts that he's just not an alpha in the NBA, maybe he starts a new career at Northwestern Tech in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. I really can't help myself today. I'm sorry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Happy to have you here. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday, but thank you, Fish. First, we have to get into, should the Lions trade Taylor Decker? We've been over this before just in talks about what we should do with Penei Sewell, yada, yada. But now Baltimore has lost their left tackle. So should we consider a mid-season move, or do we wait it out? Terry, your thoughts?
Trade him. I'm going to say hell to the no, because my fear is that they would improve this year and then ruin their stellar record. The Lions, once again, are in a position. They're not making the playoffs, so you may as well get the best draft pick. And as far as Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker, they're both good linemen, or will be good linemen. I want to see this play out. I would stick or keep Penei Sewell at left tackle and tell Taylor Decker, sorry, you're our right tackle, because this is the future. So I want to keep good linemen, but I don't want this team to improve so much that maybe they might win 3 or 4 games in a row, or do the stick.
Terry,
who still
what
thinks
if-
they're going to win 6 in a row.
What if you're the GM of the Lions and I'm the GM of Baltimore, and I call you, hey, Terry, listen, I just lost my left tackle. You have 2 of them. I know you're not willing to move off the generational kid you took number 7. What about Taylor Decker? His contract's very friendly. I know you take a big cap hit over the next year, but hey, you already have dead cap space. You're not going to be signing any significant free agents. We all know that you're going to reload and rebuild in the draft. How about I give you a first and a third, or maybe 2 seconds? Would you consider it mid-season? And I understand there's a cap hit to this. But
it's improving my team for the future. So, yeah, I would consider that.
See, and that's where I'm at, is if you can get a good deal from a contending team, even if they're later round picks, guys. We've seen players go 26th, 27th, heck, we can say in the 2nd round early on, that are much better than what the Lions have drafted in the top 10. So if you believe in Brad Holmes, I think you give him the opportunity to select as many times as possible in the upcoming few drafts. And if you're able to get a haul for Taylor Decker on a team, let's be honest, Baltimore, they're 5-1. They're going to want to make the playoffs. They're not going to like the fact that they don't have a left tackle. They're going to be willing to move off of a number 1 probably and a number 4, maybe even a 3. Who knows? And I think you got to consider that if it's on the table.
I think that's a generous haul.
I don't think so.
I would not give up a first and a third for Taylor Decker.
Even given your situation.
Yeah, I just don't think he can garner that.
Well, he has a very team-friendly deal. I believe it's 3 years, $24 million. I mean, this is inexpensive for, let's agree, a top 10 left tackle in the NFL. A very good replacement in the short term. I have to really look into how that affects the Ravens salary cap if they want to move on from Ronnie Staley, let's say. I'm not sure if they can move on pretty easily. Who knows? But, I mean, this is a team that's going to want to compete this year. You don't want to waste another year of Lamar Jackson and his dynamic play. So why not go out and get a left tackle and really solidify yourself as one of the best teams in the AFC? I mean, me personally, if I believe I have a championship team, and again, I don't follow the Ravens daily, but if I'm in Baltimore and I believe this is the team that we can push for an AFC championship game, I think I'm making that move. And I'm willing to give up more than maybe what I should, given that narrative of, hey, I believe that this roster is good enough to get it done. And if they believe that, I think they should make the move.
Well, young man, you convinced me. I changed my mind because I don't want present assets for Taylor Decker. I want future assets. And I know people say, well, why you keep looking down the road? Why do you keep looking down the road? Because the road right now is bumpy, and the road right now doesn't make sense to improve the road right now. Because all you're going to do is ruin your future.
That's the biggest thing now. And it's a little early to judge Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. And people may not like me because I criticize them. But what I'm getting at is, if you believe in Brad Holmes, and I think we can all agree, he's made competent moves you really haven't seen in years prior. So are they great moves? No, you haven't seen a great move yet. But getting 2 first-round picks for Stafford and a bridge quarterback, I thought was very good. It was very clever of him. Cool. So you trust him to draft more players. And unfortunately for him, some of his draft picks are out injured, or, he has this issue with Penei Sewell. Are we going to move him back to right tackle when Decker comes back? Eliminate that problem. Eliminate it. Trade him midseason. I understand there's a huge cap hit, but let's be real, Detroit. Do you actually think you're going to go out and sign any significant free agent this year? You think you're going to garner a 5-year, $70, $80 million free agent, $45, $50 million guaranteed this year? No, you're not.
And
no one's coming to play for you.
Don't want him.
And you don't want him, absolutely. You want the young kids to develop and grow. This is a team that's 2-3 years away, Terry. We both agree. I know for sure we agree on that.
Absolutely.
So what the hell are you doing trying to put out a good product within the next 6 to 8 months? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, if they try to do that, it's all PR. It's so they can stand up in front of the mic and say, hey, Lion fans, we're doing this for you. We want to win for you now. We're not going to take this laying down. But it's a stupid move to take. But, you can see the Lions do something ignorant like that. And you know what? This fan base, but yeah, see there? That's my organization. I love my Lions.
Yep.
People here are gullible.
Absolutely. I mean, I brought this up on Twitter yesterday. It's like, Ronnie Staley was announced injured. I'm like, the Lions really need to just call Baltimore and enter trade negotiations. And the herd came, Terry. Adam, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Adam, you idiot. Do you understand there's a cap hit? Why would you give away a left tackle when you... I mean, why would you draft a left tackle number 7 overall? To move him to right tackle? Are we really going to play this game, Detroit?
No.
Terry, please. I mean, you're more of a historian than I am. I like to think I am, but, I mean, you've been around much longer than I have. Terry, how do you think the Lions actually garner the cachet or even the respect to even remotely try to move a number 7 overall pick, change his position year 1, year 2, and then move him back in 3 years? Does that make any sense to you?
No.
When have the Lions ever proven that they can get anything right, let alone try and mess up a quote-unquote, again, generational type tackle? How?
Here's what I would do. Penei Sewell is my left tackle today, my left tackle yesterday, and my left tackle tomorrow. Because when you drafted him as a left tackle. You talked about, hey, this could be a future Hall of Fame player. He's not going to be a Hall of Fame player at right tackle. So to me, every move I make is toward the future. When I look at who's going to be my left tackle, I'm not looking at who's going to be my left tackle in 2021 or whatever this is. Who's going to be my left tackle in 2025? It's not going to be Taylor Decker.
Thank you.
It would be Penei Sewell.
And if you can get, again, I'm not sure what the market is, but you know what? Honestly, Terry, if I'm a GM and I think I have a Super Bowl winning team and I just lost my left tackle and there's nothing really available solid out there, I call Detroit and I say, you know what? I don't need a 26th, 27th overall first round pick. I don't need it. I don't need it. I've proven I can draft in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round and get good players. So I'm not going to worry about this. I'll offer Detroit a 1, or maybe I give them 2 and a 3. I don't know. But all I know is if I'm Detroit, I'm answering that phone call. And I'm taking it seriously. Yes, you're going to take a cap hit.
I will answer the phone call, but here is what I may not do the deal because what Brad Holmes is saying, what the Lions are saying for the first time, we're going to build inside out.
In the trenches, yep.
And so you want to have that younger, talented offensive line that's going to gel. And Taylor Decker is still a very good player. And, is he going to be a jerk if he stays at right tackle? That's what you got to play into. Now, if he's going to be a fool and disrupt team chemistry, then you do get rid of his
Terry,
ass.
from what they're saying, they're not entertaining moving Decker to right tackle, even though I think that's the move. They're going to move Panay to right tackle, and it absolutely drives me nuts. I think it's totally the wrong decision. Well, I want to talk to you about that a little later, but, this is my point. Who are the Detroit Lions to try and make the anomaly happen? Who? When have they ever garnered the respect, or you look at them like you look at the Ravens, the Steelers, even the Patriots to an extent? Who are the Lions to try and fiddle and test with drafting a top tackle? And we can all consider the number one tackle going into the draft. He fell to you, and now you want to change his position. And then in 2-3 years' time, when you're kind of relevant, maybe you're going to move him back to left tackle. What about Taylor Decker then? I totally agree with your point of I need to think of 2-3 years from now who's on my team, not who's going to just make me better in the interim. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Now, if Taylor Decker is going to be, team first player and accept that position right tackle, which is no guarantee, then I just want to continue to build my offensive line. Because at some point, I'm going to win.
And where's the pressure on the GM and the coach? There isn't. One got a 6-year deal. I believe Brad got a 5-year deal, correct?
Yes.
The head coach has a 6-year deal. He could have losing seasons the first 3 years, and you guys will somehow sit up here and tell me that it's okay, it's coming. Give him time. Well, okay, you want to give him time? Then do me a favor. Cut bait with the guys you know that aren't going to be here when you're actually probably a decent roster. Gather up your picks. Start hitting on your picks. And maybe, just maybe, you may actually have a good football team. Because the last I checked, the Lions aren't able to put together back-to-back good drafts. Go find me the draft where the Lions took a Darwin James, then followed it up with Joey Bosa, then Justin Herbert, then Rashawn Slater and Asante Samuel Jr. in the same draft. Go find me that organization.
That has not happened.
And that's what needs to happen. And you're hoping Brad Holmes can do that. But I say give him the assets. I don't think Taylor Decker is that important to the football team, given they're going to suck this year and next year.
I think he's important from this standpoint. Then when you look a few years down the road, you could still have Decker, Ragnow, and Penei Sewell. And you assume in 3 years these guys are going to be better. I think they're decent players now. I want one of my units to be good instead of what the Lions do is, especially with the offensive line, they move positions, they move people in, they move them out, and then that chemistry never really develops. I at least want 3 of my 5 guys to be kick-ass. And I think if the Lions stick with Taylor Decker and he doesn't want to be a jerk and fight being a right tackle, because some guys will do that. I don't know what his thinking is, but if he's willing to stay here, if he's willing to play that position, then I want to say, you know what? 3 of my 5 offensive linemen are not only above average, but they're great. So I would stick with that because offensive line is very important.
And let's be real, you still need a quarterback. And until you have, tell me if I'm wrong, Terry, but last I checked, if you have a good front office, you have the head coach, and you have the quarterback, you're going to be a very good football team. You can't just have one of the 3 like they've had in years past. You had Stafford. You never had a great head coach. You never had a great organization. You still don't have a great organization. It's yet to be proven. But the point is, if you don't have 2 out of the 3, you're done. Right now, you have 0 out of 3. Your head coach is unproven. GM's unproven. Your quarterback is a bridge quarterback. And honestly, he's the worst quarterback in the NFL. But Kennedy.
All right, you guys. I hate to cut you guys off, but coming up next, it's my favorite part of Wednesdays, and Terry has not partaken in one of these yet. So Would You Rather Wednesday is coming up next. These guys haven't even seen the questions this time, so stick around. Should be a lot of fun. But before we go, we need to hear about our friends over at MyBookie. All
right, guys, here is how it works. It's football season, and you got to start betting on football season. I make money. I don't even know what to tell you at this point. Like, I could read the copy, but guys, I've been betting for way too long for you guys not to be signing up anymore. This is getting ridiculous. Honestly, pick your pants up, go to MyBookie, sign up using code Woodward. They'll match your deposit 50%. You put in $100, they give you 50. You put in $200, they give you 100. You can bet from anywhere, anytime, no geolocation, none of that stuff. You're on vacation, you can still bet. You want to bet the Rams to win or score more than 50 points, it's a great bet this weekend. Trust me, take the Rams over 49 points. It's a great bet. It's probably like plus 300. You put a few grand in there, you walk away with a few grand more. There's my advice for you over the weekend. The Lions probably losing by 60. Go to MyBookie and bet. But please, if you do have a gambling problem, call the gambling problem hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. I don't want to wait any longer. I want to get right into Would You Rather Wednesday. We have Terry here doing it with us for the very first time.
I can't wait. Yay.
Because Terry knows, a few weeks ago, I used a tweet of yours for Would You Rather Wednesday, and the boys loved it. So you've been involved in a way before, but you didn't even know.
Now I want to get down and dirty right now.
Okay, so you know how the game works. I give you two options. You have to pick one. Death, not an option.
Right.
Okay, so would you rather keep the current Bertuzzi COVID situation? So he can't play in Canada, right? And that's a lot of our division. So, or would you have the exact same situation but with Dylan Larkin? So basically, would you rather have Larkin out for all the Canada games or Bertuzzi? Which one are you picking, Terry?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I think I'd rather have Larkin out. Bertuzzi can score. He crowds the net. He's a little bit of a badass, and I like that. And I understand that Larkin is your captain and all that kind of stuff, but I think I'd rather have Bertuzzi in all of those games.
This is a tough one. I mean, Terry kind of hit it spot on. I mean, you don't want to be without your captain, but I mean, Bertuzzi right now is on fire, goal-scoring threat every night, playing physical, defending his teammates. We saw what he did last night with Raymond after he got hit, checked into the boards.
Larkin got in on that.
Yeah, Larkin's soft. Larkin's a softie. I mean, you know, honestly, he could use the
Waterford,
rest.
right?
He could use the break.
Yeah, people from Waterford aren't soft.
He could use the rest. I mean, he's already injury-prone enough. He's already taken enough hits this year. I don't mind giving him the games in Canada off. And let's be honest, the Detroit-Canada rivalries, that's a thing. So those games are going to be physical. I don't need my captain missing the rest of the year because he's prone to take hits he probably shouldn't be taking.
Yeah, because at some point in the season, the NFL is going to – not the NFL, but the NHL is going to turn rougher. And, you know, in the playoffs, you know, it's not finesse that wins. It's grit and grime. Not they're going to make the playoffs, but to get there, you have to have some grit and grime and stuff. And I don't want to get rid of a grimy player.
I'm with you. All right. Hopping off of this, would you rather have the Bertuzzi COVID situation, so no Canada games, or the Evander Kane COVID situation? He is now suspended until
I'm taking the
30th.
Evander Kane. I'm sorry. I'm all about media. I mean, that is a great story. This dude, betting on games, faking a vaccine card. What an OG. Like, I have so much respect for this guy. Like, the fact that he thought he could actually get away with getting a fake vaccine card. Right. I mean, it's a great story. And if, you know, I'm the NHL franchise and that's my player, I'm like, well, you know, this is a PR disaster, but it's like, hey, it's a good story. We get some.
Okay, dude, having a good story and having a clown are two different things.
Hell
no.
Terry.
Oh, my God.
No, you don't want that. Because even when COVID is over, you still have the clown. He'll do something else ignorant. He'll do something else. You're like, what? So, this is not a one-shot deal. So I'd much rather have.
Well, neither of them involve shots, but
well,
I mean, I like your questions today, Kennedy. Good job.
Thanks.
She's on fire.
He was found guilty on the betting, though.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, they said they couldn't find it. NHL said they couldn't find any evidence. So.
Okay.
It's not over though.
Well, and then there was the whole wife situation, or estranged wife
we don't have
situation.
to go down that road.
There's too many things with Kane for my likings. But my next question, and I think this one should be obvious. I think this should be a softball, but you guys might surprise me.
Oh wow.
Would you rather have U of M's offense and MSU's defense, or vice versa, U of M's offense? Wait, or did I already say
Michigan
that?
State's offense.
Michigan
yep.
State's offense and U of M's defense.
I'm taking Michigan State offense, Michigan defense. Michigan State, probably one of the best backs in the country right now. They have two playmakers on the outside with Naylor and Reed. Their quarterback, I think, is better than Cade McNamara. Unless Michigan starts J.J. McCarthy, I'm not changing my mind on the offense difference. Michigan really needs to start this kid. I mean, you have nothing to lose except football games because Cade McNamara can't win you them. He sure as hell can lose you them. So that's that. And the Michigan defense, let's be honest, one of the best front sevens in the country. Their secondary a little questionable, but if you give me the Michigan State offense, Michigan defense, I think I can win the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm not taking Aiden Hutchinson off the field. So I think what's underrated just in this state, I think people outside of Michigan recognize this. Michigan State's got some stone cold killer playmakers, and Walker, and these guys. And to me, when Michigan and Michigan State play, it's going to come down against Michigan State's offense. How potent and how good will they be against Michigan's defense? Michigan State's defense, they're okay at times. But if you need a big play through the air, you're going to get it for the most part. The pass rush has been a little disappointing, not to what I'm used to seeing from Michigan State, but definitely Michigan's defense, which, is a different scheme, different attitude and everything, I think it's pretty impressive.
I mean, what Harbaugh did, we all know what Mel Tucker's done. It's been an amazing job. The transfer portal kids he brought in, everything he was able to do in basically one full season. I mean, it's amazing what he's done to turn it around. But Jim Harbaugh as well, he looked himself in the mirror. They gave him that redeal, or they gave him that adjusted contract, a very, college or university friendly where they can get rid of him anytime they want. This guy goes out and hires 15 new staff members, all under the age of 45. And I've seen this like twice in my lifetime, Terry, and tell me if there was more, but I remember Bob Stoops did this, and he hit gold with Lincoln Riley. And I believe Mac Brown did it at Texas, and it didn't work out for him, though. Totally backfired. And right now it's kind of working out for Jim Harbaugh. Seems like there's more energy in the locker room. Kids are much more, they're enjoying their football more. And honestly, Mike McDonald has been a phenomenal hire on the defensive side of the ball. So Michigan, they both look good.
Well, when Michigan hired Jim Harbaugh, they essentially hired Bo Schembechler all over again. And Bo's mentality and Harbaugh's mentality is, let's get the old farts in who have experience. But you know what? The game grew stale. It was stale in the locker room. I think the players got bored with these guys. And of course, they said, "Oh no, I respect all our coaches," but it's a young man's game, not only on the field but off the field too. Sometimes you need the guy with just a little less experience who's going to get in your case and coach you up. I think they grew tired and bored with Don Brown and some of those older guys. It's like, okay, maybe their schemes.
They weren't tired the first
too.
few years. I mean, that was a team going into the last game against Ohio State ranked second and third back-to-back years. I mean, that was a great football team those first 3 years under Harbaugh. And then they started to decline, and they waited too long to get rid of Don Brown. But, hey, they finally did. They got younger, and it seems like it's paying off. Yeah, but at that time, the defense was ranked high and everything. But you can do that in the Big Ten until you meet Ohio State. Yep.
The Big Ten is an okay conference. It's solid. It might be better this year than it's been in many, many years. But for the most part, you should be able to get through this gauntlet of teams with a stellar defense if you're halfway decent, because it's just not that impressive. This year, maybe so, but I'm talking about in years past.
Yeah, but the offense is average. Again, I think they need to start J.J. McCarthy. You need somebody who can just be dynamic. With no J.J. McCarthy, this is not a team that wins the Big Ten. They can't beat Ohio State. They may beat Michigan State if they're lucky. Penn State, good luck. I mean, those are, I can argue 3 losses for Michigan this year if they don't get their act together on offense. And may I remind everybody, they beat Nebraska because of their backfield, not because of their quarterback. They won in spite of their quarterback, actually. But, Kennedy, what you got?
Okay, this is my favorite question, and I can't wait for Terry's commentary. So would you rather, so basically it's which quarterback situation do you want right now? Would you rather be married to Kelly Stafford, so would you rather be Matthew Stafford married to Kelly Stafford, or have Jackson Mahomes as your brother?
Oh, my freaking God. Give me Kelly Stafford. Give me Matt. I'd rather be Matthew Stafford. I'm in L.A. enjoying the time of my life. At least my wife loves me. At least I don't have a wife that dances and throws shit at fans during the football games. I mean, get Jackson Mahomes the hell away from me. I mean, just no, Terry, no. I don't know what the hell is going on with this TikTok BS. I don't understand this crap. I don't understand how they freaking dance and throw I don't know. I don't like it. Get him away from me. I don't need an annoying younger brother like that. His wife is annoying, too. I would not want to be Patrick Mahomes. She comes off as... If you think Kelly Stafford was bad during her time in Detroit, Kansas City fans, good freaking luck with this one. Honestly, I feel bad for you.
All you
got a brother and the wife.
Kelly Stafford is a cutie pie.
She is.
I'm in L.A. All you got to do is keep her off Instagram. And I think Matthew has said that. Honey, no.
Well, she has a podcast now.
My wife can have a podcast. She can have whatever the hell she wants. Just keep me the hell away from the Mahomes family. Please. Please, please, and thank you. Get the brother away from me. I don't want to deal with the wife. Just I don't want to deal with it. Please, I don't need it. I'd rather my wife talk her shit on a podcast, no problem. And then I can, kind of limit what she says, hopefully. I don't know. But I'd rather be in L.A., Terry, like you said. Sun's out. Playing for a beautiful organization.
But
I have the best head coach
there.
I've ever had.
The sun is not out all the time. The sun
true.
might be out, but there's smog and stuff like that. And the beaches are cold. But
it gets really foggy at night. It's actually terrifying. I lived in California for a bit when I was in San Francisco, and driving over the bridge was like one of the scariest things ever because you literally couldn't see a foot in front of you.
Well, San Francisco and L.A. are two different.
I mean...
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
one's in
they're
the
like
south,
4
one's
hours
hotter.
away.
Listen,
they act like they're different states too. There's like a
Look,
rivalry.
you would live
there.
anywhere in California than you would in Kansas City. I mean, that's the reality.
True. All right, we'll end
Kansas
on
City
this
barbecue.
one. Would you rather? You have to. Death not an option. Would you rather have Blau or Cam Newton finish off the season, this current season?
I'd rather die.
No, it's not an option.
No, that's not an option. I'd rather have Cam Newton.
But that comes with paying the man and
You're
yada
not
yada.
going to pay him. He'll sign to a league minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to pay him a lot,
Well,
but he would add great debate in this town. He would add enthusiasm to this town because I think the pressure on Jared Goff would be higher because then I think more fans would say, play Cam Newton. And I don't mind that. I don't mind there being disruptions. I don't mind there being fights amongst fans and fights among the organization this year.
I like it too. I would take Cam Newton, and it's really more so because I'm paying Jared Goff $30.5 million guaranteed next year. I got to whip his ass in shape. He's got to give me something. He's got to play better than how he's playing now. And I'd rather have Cam Newton backing him up and kind of like fighting for that spot than, let's be honest, Blau is not somebody like Lions fans are going to wake up Sunday morning. Well, we got Blau starting at quarterback today.
Except Maz.
Yeah,
Except Maz. Yeah, true. Maz did call for Blau, but Maz. What's next, Kennedy?
But the thing with Stafford, he never had a backup here that was going to challenge him for the starting position. Let's try something different.
Absolutely.
Have a backup that can actually start and put pressure on the starter who's not performing.
Cam Newton kind of offers some fashion sense in the locker room. I don't know. I may not wear what he wears, but hey, it's different. I'll take different.
All right. Well, speaking of David Blau and Miss, I got to tell you guys, about Legacy Partners Insurance. You guys know when you watch football games, you're always bombarded with insurance ads. It is so annoying. They're promising to save you money, and they don't. So if you really want to save money, you need my new friends over at Legacy Partners Insurance. They're independent, so they shop between 7 and 10 carriers for your insurance best deal. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to call 586-209-4106 and tell them that I sent you, not Maz. Just for getting a quote and telling them that I sent you, you'll be put in a drawing for a $50 gift card. So call or go to legacypartnersins.com/Woodward today.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, so we addressed this yesterday, if the Lions should target a wide receiver before the deadline, but we haven't heard it from Terry yet, so we need his opinion. Who should we target if you think they should get a wide receiver? And I heard there might be a little story time that goes with this.
I will tell you no. Once again, you've already dug this 0-6 hole, soon to be 0-7. What are you trying to do? Really, what's the point? I don't get it. Just take your butt whooping, move on, go 1-16 or 2-15, and call it a day, and get your draft picks and move on to next season. The Lions are already on the clock. You may as well remain on the clock. It's the best thing for the organization. So
Yeah,
don't say no.
mean, I said it yesterday. Hell no. What are you trying to get better for? You suck. You would suck with 2 elite wide receivers. You would suck without them. You don't have a good football team. Your defense somehow is overperforming, and it's completely decimated by injuries, and that's saying a lot. The offense, let's be honest, Jared Goff couldn't see an open wide receiver, so why does it matter if you need to get one? You don't need to get one. Get the draft pick. Get the number 1 overall pick. If somebody offers you 4 or 5 first-round picks for that number 1 overall pick, great, do it. If they don't, you probably take Thibodeau, number 1 overall. We'll have to see how the college season plays out. But, you take an edge rusher, you take somebody, or you trade back and get a Kyle Hamilton, 5th, 6th, 7th overall. Who knows? But that's just the way it works.
Yeah,
I don't see why you want to get better.
The Lions' number 1 receiver in the future, and I keep me to say it's future. But the Lions' number 1 wide receiver is playing in college now, or might be playing in high school.
Probably in middle school.
Could be middle school.
Knowing the Lions, how long it'll take? Probably middle school.
But their number 1 receiver should not be playing the NFL right now.
Absolutely. And, I mean, who would they go for? Odell Beckham? No.
He's a clown.
Yeah. I can't think of, targetable wide receivers that you can go out and get without giving up, too much. Why are you giving up draft capital? Why can't you be like any other organization and actually find good talent in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round? Do I have to remind you the last 4 draft classes of wide receivers taken after the 2nd round? Just get your act together. I'm not going to swear. Get your act together and actually be, I don't know, a good organization and kind of draft well and actually hit on a few players instead of hitting on 1 out of every 7 draft picks. Let's start there.
Brad Holmes, that's his job. I believe he'll do it.
I do want to ask you, since we're talking about Brad Holmes right now and whether or not they should make a move at wide receiver. We're 6 games in, and I've already said I'm going to give Dan Campbell till Thanksgiving of next year before I really evaluate what he's done. Because
that's nice of you.
The roster's awful, and I don't think it's fair to judge a coach completely with this bad of a roster. But I think by Thanksgiving of next year, I'll know what he offers and what he doesn't. And we're 6 games in. Is it fair for me to say this past draft hasn't turned out all that great for the Detroit Lions? Or am I early on this? Because I'm looking at it. Penei Sewell needs time, no problem. Ali McNeil, inconsistent as hell. You just activated Jamar Jefferson, who was your 7th-round pick. I mean, Jesus. It took you 5 games to finally see, like, oh, wow, we should play Derek Barnes. So, and none of them are really impact players. There's not one player you've drafted that is impact playing right now in the NFL. And, again, I can make the argument, and maybe I'm being cynical, but I can name 5, 6, 7 NFL teams that have 2nd, 3rd, 4th-round picks right now that are impact players, whether it's on the offensive line, the secondary, skill position, doesn't matter.
You're correct. However, I see potential in Derek Barnes.
Yep.
I see potential in Penei Sewell. I thought he was good when he first moved to left tackle.
Yep.
Now, what I don't know, because I'm not a doctor, is how much are injuries playing in him being pedestrian now. So a lot of times we make judgments on athletes when they're not 100%, and maybe they're 80%, and I think he is he's injured now. But that's why sometimes athletes don't want to play, because they know they're not 100%, but they're going to give it the old college try. But then we are going to evaluate him and say, man, this dude is garbage. When
I mean,
in
Terry,
actuality,
after the second game of after this Lions' second football game, I sat up here, and there was no chance in hell anybody in America could argue with me that Penei Sewell shouldn't have been the starting left tackle for the Detroit Lions. And it was by luck, by injury, that he was moved right before the season started. Taylor Decker got hurt, 3-4 days before the Niners game. This kid balls out in his first 2 games. Yes, he struggled. He's a rookie, 21 years old, barely. He's had 3 good games, 3 bad games. I mean, I like Penei Sewell, but
that's why I'm not moving him.
I agree, but I'm looking at this draft class, and again, 6 games in, I do think it's early, but the point I'm trying to make is, when do the Lions finally hit on a guy where you're like, how did they get him in the 3rd round? Why does Washington draft Antonio Gibson in the 3rd round? Why does Jonathan Taylor go in the 2nd round to Indianapolis? Why does Asante Samuel Jr. go in the 2nd round? Why is he already a better secondary player than Jeff Okudah? Why is Trayvon Diggs, the guy who's taken 48 picks after Jeff Okudah, already a better secondary player? Like, when do the Lions have these moments? And that's what I'm expecting of this new regime. Because if you're not, well, then it's same old Lions.
It would be. The only thing I can say is a lot of these other players you're talking about are playing next to better players, so they don't have to, they're not exposed as much as these guys.
Fair.
The Lion rookies are playing next to bad players, so they have to show out more. They get exposed more.
But couldn't you see, even if they get exposed, I don't mind them having bad games, but you could watch the game and see, like, oh, wow, like, in 2 years, when the team is good, that guy's actually going to be a difference maker. Like, I see that with Derek Barnes. I see it with Penei Sewell. I don't see it with anybody else. If he's hurt, so I can't really tell with him. Ali McNeil, again, very inconsistent. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. But, I mean, I can even look at Atlanta. Jalen Mayfield, offensive tackle taken out of Michigan. He's actually doing a pretty good job. He was taken, 3rd, 4th round? So, I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit frustrated.
We also have to look at,
but
I think there are flaws with this coaching staff. The coaching staff is supposed to put you
in the best position possible.
Best position to succeed. I don't think that's happening yet, because you have a coaching staff that's learning on the fly. I think maybe some of these guys, if they've been drafted with another team, we'd be saying, hey, man, this McNeil's pretty good. How come the Lions couldn't draft him? But you bring a guy who's a good player in to a flawed system with a coach still trying to figure things out, and you just don't win and lose on rah, rah, rah. You actually have to have some type of scheme, some type of schematics, some type of brains. And I tell you what I don't like about Dan Campbell, and I'm making that assessment right now. I think the defensive line has played well against the Baltimore Ravens. They did. And then when it was time to decide the game, they called the dogs off. Like, okay, let's rush 3 or rush 2 or whatever. That made no sense to me. That's what the Lions do.
They were making Lamar Jackson run for his life. On the 3rd down play, what was it, 3rd and 16, 3rd and 19, he scrambled about a good 30, 40 yards in total, ran to the sideline and threw it away.
Right.
And then you call a timeout. And you let them catch their breath, and then you send 3 rushers. I mean, we'll get to we'll get to Dan Campbell later because I have very similar concerns that you do. But I just want you to tell me if I'm way out there or just maybe I'm onto something because I'm losing my mind. I'm losing sleep at night because I'm trying to give the guy a fair chance. But we'll have to wait and see. Kennedy?
You guys, we're always talking about defenses. The Rams defense is about to shut out the Lions, I think. But you know who has a better defense? Our friends at Guardian Alarm.
Guys, a good defense on and off the field that helps you feel secure is Guardian Alarm with their state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe all along with their 24/7 local monitoring. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe. Again, that's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Thank you, guys.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. You guys, I am so excited for this topic because you all already know I still support Matthew Stafford even though he is with the Rams, regardless of what that means for our draft pick. I don't care. Matthew Stafford spent his time here. He did all that he could, in my humble opinion. But Adam feels, I think, similarly to me, but I don't know how Terry feels at all. So, Terry,
yes,
can you be a Stafford and a Lions fan this season? How am I supposed to be handling this situation? So, is it fair or foul for me to support Matthew Stafford?
You can do that.
Thank you.
You
but
can.
Rephrase the question though. Are you a true Lions fan?
This is the thing. There's always chitter chatter in the back offices that I
not
overhear.
chitter chatter. You are not a Detroit Lions fan.
They straight
Terry,
up will say to my face, "You are not a Lions fan. You cannot be. You are a bad fan. You do not actually like the Lions if you still support Matthew Stafford."
Okay, that's not true.
Terry,
Because
yeah.
here's how this town works. We love our teams, right? We love the jerseys. But when somebody leaves, we still embrace them. We still have that little tear of joy or whatever for that. And we did it with Justin Verlander. We're doing it with Matthew Stafford. Now, the only difference is Stafford wanted the hell out of here. But I understand why he wanted out. He wanted to show that he's a better quarterback. He wanted to show that he can win with a real organization. So I truly understand that love you still have for Matthew Stafford, even though he's not here and he wanted out. That's sort of what we do in this town.
I totally agree. Again, like if the Lions handled Calvin the way you wanted them to at the time, and they traded him, you can't sit up here and tell me with a straight face that you wouldn't have been rooting for Calvin to go on and succeed elsewhere, wherever he may have been. I mean, this is a guy that gave you over 10 years, and now we're talking about Stafford. You're talking 12 seasons. Gave you everything he could have given you. Adam, well, you know what? You're not a fan because, if you root for Stafford, that means we're going to get a less draft pick. Dude, Terry Foster and Fish could line up at quarterback for the Rams, and they would probably win 9-10 games and be picking anywhere from 18 to 22. So how about you chill out there? That's a great football team. That's a great head coach. That's a great organization. So they were going to succeed regardless. So stop this narrative that you're trying to root for the Rams to lose as many games. They're winning 12, 13 games. Like, stop this. Stop doing this to yourself, Detroit
And you
Lions
have
fans.
to look. Barry wanted out. Calvin Johnson wanted out. They didn't get to play for another team. I think Barry would have played for somebody else. Calvin definitely would have played for somebody else.
Yep.
Would you have rooted against him?
Absolutely not. That's guys. Again, this is a guy. I don't understand how a guy that's given you everything. Oh, you want to criticize Stafford for what he didn't accomplish? Be my guest. Believe me, I'm on part of that train. But show me the time you've ever surrounded Stafford with a Sean McVay. Show me the sample where you've ever given him a front office that was actually competent, that didn't take Eric Ebron over Aaron Donald. Please. No, I'm being so serious now. Matthew Stafford's in a situation in 1 year that he's never been in the 12 in Detroit. And you know what? It's going to bite you in the ass if this team wins a few playoff games, goes to an NFC championship. You know why? Because everybody in Detroit's going to have to wake up and be like, we had 12 years to figure it out.
I'm glad you said the word wake up.
Yep.
Because here's why I want Stafford to succeed. Because if he does, it will get Lion fans to wake up and realize what a horrible organization this is. Here's a guy that you dogged while he's here. Oh, he can't win the big games, and he's Pat Stafford and everything. Now he goes to a real organization and wins there. I hope he wins so people here will wake up and say, you know what?
We had 12 years to figure that shit out, and we couldn't. Like, how pathetic do you have to be as not only a fan, but an organization? Like, it's not, forget rooting for Stafford. You should pray that he goes to an NFC championship game, maybe even a Super Bowl. You know why? Because then maybe, just maybe, you guys wake the hell up and actually hold this team accountable. Because you had 12 years to surround him with a very good head coach, with a very good front office, with a very good team. You never did. What, 1 year? The team that Jim Schwartz built. Caldwell walks in 11-5. It was a great season, but may I remind you, it actually wasn't great because they choked away the division. And then they started 5-0, and we all know how that turned out. And then they started 6-2, and then they threw away that division lead with Aaron Rodgers hurt. Do I have to remind you guys? He's with a better head coach, and coaching matters in the NFL. It actually does. Stop telling me that you need players. We'll get to Dan Campbell later. But when you have a head coach, you know you have a head coach. It's really easy to spot, like, oh, wow, I see what he does. I see how he contributes to my team. I see how...
Hinch.
Thank you.
They didn't win the division. They finished third. But you can look at this guy and say, oh, I see why this guy is...
a good manager.
Good manager, right.
Like, I can see, wow, Kyle Shanahan. 80% of his salary cap is on injured reserve last year. Backup quarterback, backup running backs, backup wide receivers. Defense completely decimated. Can go on the road and win in L.A. and win in Seattle. Oh, wow. He offers something, a scheme. He offers an offensive run zone package that it just works, man. He took his dad's model and he perfected it. And here he is, a successful head coach. Now, it's kind of tough to win in the NFL without a starting quarterback. But, hey, the point is, you know when you have something. And the moment Stafford walked into that building, Sean McVay and him just lit up because they knew, I have a quarterback that I believe in, that I can trust, and that I can actually criticize and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to run here. Can you do it? And then the quarterback will offer me feedback like, yeah, I agree, but hey, what do you think if we do this, this, and that? Jared Goff was never that for Sean McVay. They won in spite of Jared Goff. And you're seeing it now. The guy's never won a football game in his life without Sean McVay. Put that into perspective a little bit. Terry, I don't know. I'm hoping they wait. I'm hoping they win.
Sometimes an organization can take you to greatness, and you know the Lions have never been an organization. What we do in this town, we're very, very simplistic. When the Lions lose, we're gonna blame the quarterback. When the Lions lose, we're gonna say, "Who's the backup? That's who I want quarterback in this team." We do not hold the Lions accountable. Because people in this town love this organization so much that they're willing to, forget their flaws. And here's the crazy thing. I run into young people, and I understand your perspective is different. I run into young people say, Lions have been bad for the last 10 years. That's baloney. They've been bad for the last 60 years. Now, the glory days of the Detroit Lions, 1990s, right? Finished with a losing record. They were still below 500, even though they won a division, even though they went to the NFC Championship game. But in totality, the greatest coach in Lions history, Wayne Fontes, walked away with a losing record. I run into guys who played on that team and said, in hindsight, if we had better coaching, we could have done better. And I was a guy who foolishly defended Wayne Fontes because they were winning, but there were just so much more this team could have done if they got great coaching. And I'll tell you a story. I was critical of the defensive backs one time, and just say, they were garbage in the 1990s team. One of the players grabbed me and pulled me into a room. He says, I want you to see this. He had film frozen. And he says, I want you to count how many yards I am off the line of scrimmage. And I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He was 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. Then he looked at me and says, what the hell am I supposed to do? Who am I supposed to stop 12 yards off the line of scrimmage? We're getting bad coaching. So I backed off of them a little bit because then I saw what they saw.
In the Lions' history, Terry, in their complete history, when have you ever seen, like, wow, that guy coached for the Detroit Lions? You can't say that. You've never had a Hall of Fame coach. You've never had a Hall of Fame coach. And that is what you've been missing all these years. You've had the running back, you've had the wide receiver, you've even had the quarterback.
You did have a Hall of Fame coach here. Don Shula.
Stop.
Who never coached for the Lions, but he was a coach for the Lions.
No, I know.
This
Stop.
is an organization that at some point said to Don Shula, nah, we're good. Who said to Bill Parcells, nah, we got it. Don't worry about it. Those are two guys that they rejected. Parcells was willing to come here and kind of help this organization. But his biggest flaw is Parcells is such a strong personality. The Lions don't want to deal with that. So they told him, nah, we're good. Thanks for your offer, but, get the hell out of here. And they had Don Shula here. Nah, we're good. We'll find somebody else.
I mean, Washington did this. They let Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan all slip out of the organization without hiring any of them as their head coach. They kept, Jay Gruden, I believe it was.
Yes.
Yeah, Jay Gruden. They kept Jay Gruden over those three guys. And look, one's in the Green Bay, 31-7 record, 2 NFC Championship appearances in his 2 full seasons. The other, Kyle Shanahan. You guys can keep dogging on Kyle Shanahan in the chat, but Terry, tell me if I'm wrong. That dude gets hired the day he's let go, he's hired. He is a good head coach. His record with an actual starting quarterback in the NFL is one of the best we've seen. All those losses that you guys want to tell me about in his 5 seasons where he's only had 1 winning record, well, no shit. He hasn't had a quarterback. You go find me the head coach that can win without a quarterback. And you find me that head coach and I'll shut up and I'll stop talking about Kyle Shanahan. But you can't. No head coach can win without a quarterback. No quarterback can win without the head coach. It's that simple. That's why Stafford never won anything. That's why Jim Caldwell was never able to win anything. Caldwell was never very good. And Stafford couldn't overcome that bad coaching.
Who's considered the greatest coach in NFL history, at least recent NFL?
Bill Belichick, and he can't win without a quarterback.
He doesn't have a quarterback, or he's got a young quarterback who might be pretty good, but he's got a losing record.
Yep.
He probably won't make the playoffs because he doesn't have Tom Brady. Now, Belichick, I think when you look at his history, failed in Cleveland, went to New England, built something there, lucked up on Tom Brady, and all of a sudden, he became the greatest coach of all time.
Look, part of it luck, yes. But, to be fair to him, he did draft Brady in the 6th round. I mean, there were plenty of teams that had the opportunity. He saw it in Brady. He sat him. He developed him. When Bledsoe went down, he made the conscious decision that when Bledsoe came back, that there's no way this guy is taking the job over Brady. It wasn't going to happen. And what they do the following year? First year starting as a rookie, he goes on and wins the Super Bowl. I mean, the rest is history, but... Look, you can't do it without the quarterback. You can't do it without the head coach. When you have one or the other, you usually never win. There's anomalies. John Harbaugh, he won a Super Bowl with Joe freaking Flacco. Ravens have won it with Trent Dilfer. I mean, there are instances in history where it does happen. But who are the Lions to test the anomaly and prove everybody wrong? They're not an organization that can do that. So you need to get the head coach right. You need to get the quarterback right. Kennedy?
You guys, all of this Stafford talk makes me want to tell you guys where you should.
What's Stafford's first name?
Matthew.
Okay.
Not Matt. Do not call him Matt.
I know.
It's Matthew.
But
Stafford.
you're the last name queen.
I am the queen of just last names. I know. Here, I'll do this entire live read in just last names as well. All right, so join us for the Lions pregame. It's at O'Toole's because it's an away game. We're going to LA. So Edwards, Armani, and Mazaway. and Snap. I don't know Jade's last name, but Jade from Riff will be at O'Toole's and will also be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for the Sunday game against the Rams from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. live. So make sure you guys come out and join Woodward Sports there. And then you guys know the party does not end with a pregame. You got a postgame at Brass Rail downtown with Stick and Anson. Join Woodward Sports and Jim Beam Yum for every Lions game at the 2-minute warning. So you guys, you can come watch the game. Join the VIP Woodward Sports fans area for pizza and more. You guys know the official post game for the Detroit Lions football games are at the Brass Rail. All right, when we come back, we will get Terry Foster's thoughts on Dan Campbell. Don't miss it. Stick around. We will see you after the break.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for sticking around with us right here on the Morning Woodward Show. You guys, as promised, we're going to get these guys' thoughts on Dan Campbell. So, Terry, would you like to start? I'm intrigued. Just your overall this season, how are you feeling about Dan Campbell 0-6?
I'm starting to see some boobism in Dan Campbell.
Boobism.
Yes, not boobs as in boobs, but some flaws in his coaching acumen. I don't like the fact that he calls the Wolves off in critical situations. I think he coached better early in the season, not just because the guys were playing for him, but I thought they were better creative on offense. I thought they tried different things on defense, and it seems like at some point Dan Campbell said, okay, we're not going to win, so I'm just not going to try as hard. I didn't mind the crying. He's an emotional guy. I was surprised that they came out so flat against Cincinnati. So obviously that didn't resonate in the locker room, and so that's fearful. But when he was hired, I supported it from this standpoint. This Lions team needed somebody who was a motivator more than an X's and O's guy, because this locker room was so deflated. This locker room felt they didn't have a coaching staff that was in their best interest under Matt Patricia, that they needed somebody to motivate them. They needed somebody, not necessarily that they liked, but somebody that they wanted to play for. And that's what Dan Campbell was. But now you guys still got to put guys in position to win, whether you motivate or not. And I just don't think he's doing that.
Look, Terry, this is how I feel about Dan Campbell. He hasn't brought anything where you're like, wow, he does this thing very well, outside of kumbaya and making everybody feel great, which doesn't win you football games last I checked. And is it unfair to say that considering how bad his roster is? Maybe. But I've seen this with Rod Marinelli. I've seen it with Jim Schwartz. I've seen this type of coach. But at least Jim Schwartz had a defensive coordinating background, a guy that was well-revered and well-respected as a defensive coordinator. And what do you know? He leaves the Lions. He's still a defensive coordinator in the NFL right now. I mean, I don't know what he does that's so great. And I brought this up yesterday. Do you just want to be a good team, or do you want to be a great team? If you want to be a great team, you have to have a great head coach. And I don't know if he can be a great head coach. I don't know what he does that's so special outside of his ability to communicate. That's it.
All right, here's the
missing
reality.
something?
No, it makes perfect sense. If this thing works with the Lions and they ascend up the ladder of being bad to being mediocre to being good, and if they're able to take that next step to being championship contender, Dan Campbell's not going to be your coach.
Absolutely not.
He is the guy that's hopefully puts you in position and then you jettison him. He's your setup man. And now, at some point, you got to find your closure.
Terry, I got to deal with this chat every single day. I mean, some of this stuff is ridiculous. I'm going to read this to you.
I want to hear.
The problem is, Terry, that Campbell wants it more than the players, or more than his players are even capable of. And what? What? How about Dan Campbell just goes out on the field and plays then? Because he clearly can't coach. Because I don't know what he offers. He relies on Anthony Lynn to put together the offensive scheme. He relies on Aaron Glenn to put together the defensive scheme. He is, by definition, Mike McCarthy right now. He's really useless. I don't know what he offers. I don't know what he gives my team. And is it fair 6 games in to say, I don't know, Terry, maybe I'm too far ahead of this right now. But I'm not confident that he gives me an edge over other football teams. I'm not going into a week-to-week matchup saying, I got Dan Campbell. Like, we got this.
No, you're never going to be ahead of the sticks. He's never going to be that guy that makes you far superior to another team. He's a guy that can lead a team, motivate guys, maybe make the Lions good Sunday.
I think they win 9-10 games in 3 years.
But you're never going to hear this. Dan Campbell, he outcoached so-and-so.
Yep, and that's where I'm going with this is I think he's here. They gave him a 6-year deal. He's probably here for 3. He's probably your Freddie Kitchens. You move on, you bring in a Stefanski-like coach, and then your 11, 12-win team win the division. I mean,
okay.
That's what you expect
let me
at
tell
least.
You, this is the Lions.
I know.
He will be here for 5 years, no matter how bad it is.
Terry, he's a leader of men.
He is.
He is a leader of men, and he's a leader of losing men right now. Can you guys stop this? Honestly. You tell me how bad the roster is. Tell me how... I agree. I didn't expect this. I'm not the one who said the team was going to win 9-10 games like you buffoons did. Let's remember that. I cautioned you, and I tried to warn you, and I told you they would win 3, 4, 5 games at the most. And you sat up here, Dan Campbell is a better coach than Matt Patricia. He's way better. His culture's better. He's going to come in, and they're going to fight. All I know about Dan Campbell is that his teams fight, and that they play hard. But, Terry, last I checked, every NFL team plays hard. Am I missing something?
They do, but you saw a team here quit before he got here. So fans in other cities are not used to the extreme where guys just say, you know what, I'm not playing for this guy. Or I'm going to speak out, and then they're going to trade me.
I don't get it, Terry.
I don't like what I'm seeing here, so I'm going to speak out.
Terry, Zach Taylor, Bengals, perfect example here. You take a flyer on a young, offensive-minded head coach. The Bengals were awful last year, but you know what they didn't do? They didn't freak out. Why? Because you saw moments. You're like, oh, wow. I get why we hired him, but the roster's not all that great, so let's wait to see how he turns out. Roster gets slightly better. They're a 4-2 football team right now. Now I know the season starts to play out.
They got what I think is a borderline great quarterback.
Yep, absolutely, and I do agree. But again, that's your situation. And you're telling me that what does Dan Campbell offer me? Where's the coaching advantage I get from having Dan Campbell as my head coach? I don't know what that is yet. I'm hoping by next Thanksgiving I can figure that out. Because believe me, more than anything I want is for them to just get it right.
No, we should have? We should have a Adam Thanksgiving feast next year where you break down Dan Campbell, tell us definitively what he's all about. After you do that, we eat turkey and mac and cheese and whatever else we have and have a good old time.
Again.
And I'll smoke the turkey.
I would love that. I know the roster's not great, Terry. But you can spot something early on with a coach where you're like, oh, wow, I see what he does good. But he can be great at it once he gets a good team. Like, I don't see that. Where's my Sean McVay? Where's my Kyle Shanahan? Where's my Matt LaFleur? Where is my Kevin Stefanski? Where's that hire where you're like, holy kid, this kid can coach, and if we put a good team around him, my goodness, he could be special. Now, it doesn't work out always.
But
you took a flyer on an assistant coach who was a tight ends coach, and you gave him a 6-year deal with 0 coaching experience outside of an interim stint out in Miami?
Hey, he did a good job with it.
What do you mean? He was 4-7 or 3-6, whatever it was.
5-7.
5-7. What a great guy.
But you know what he did? He went into that interview with Sheila Ford Hamp, Chris Spielman.
It's an overcompensation hire. They were so negative and so toxic.
No,
and they replaced him with a guy
but
that
he
was
went
flamboyant.
in there, rah-rah, screaming and hollering, and this is who I am. And you know, they fell for it.
Me too.
That's the problem, though. When are you, Detroit, I'm being so honest with you right now. When are you going to have some standards? You have standards for the Red Wings. You have standards for the Tigers. You have it for the Pistons. Where in the hell are your standards for the Detroit Lions?
You know why
When
there
are
no
you actually
standards?
going to expect them to turn themselves into not a mediocre, pathetic franchise, but to actually a good or maybe even very good franchise?
Brother, do you know why there are no standards?
I know.
Because we're in love. We love our Detroit Lions no matter what they do.
It blows my mind,
are
Terry.
in love. It's like, you know, you date that woman. She's got bad breath. She farts. She cusses too much. But you're in love. So you're hanging with her. That's what it is with this town for the Detroit Lions.
Do you remember John McKay, Buccaneers head coach? Do you remember John McKay?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Old fella.
So there's a comment. They started 0-26 with John McKay.
27.
0-27?
Yes.
Perfect. And then he led them to the playoffs eventually. I believe that was in the 70s or 80s?
Yes.
All right, guys, do you not understand how different football was back then? There was no media. There was no criticism. You gave everybody an abundance amount of time. It's not like today's world. We're in a totally different league. Dan Campbell could coach 10 years in the 70s and not win a football game probably. We're in a different era. Coaches get 2 to 3 years to figure it out. If they don't, they're gone. It's that simple. Who are the Lions to give this guy a full 6 seasons based on his coaching acumen that I keep hearing about? I don't know it, and I want him to have it. Believe me. I would love nothing more to be wrong on this. But what advantage do I get out of having Dan Campbell as my head coach? I don't know. I don't know yet, and I'm hoping I can find out by Thanksgiving of next year.
I think what they were hoping is that this locker room would be so motivated and stimulated by him that they would play above their heads. But here's the thing I don't understand. What cachet did he have to get a 6-year deal?
The hell if I know, Terry. The hell if I
and here's
know.
the other thing, brother, and he ain't leaving after 3 years.
Hell no, he isn't. They're going to stick by him, and they're going to trust him because he's Mr. Rah-Rah. Everybody's going to be happy in the building. Everybody's going to be, I don't know who this dude standing behind me is. Is he wearing a white jacket?
I thought that was LeBron James.
All right, it looked like
version.
LeBron James from my screen, but Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
He's gone.
Here we go. Terry, another example. Jimmy Johnson started 1-15 his first year with the Cowboys. So maybe Dan Campbell is the next Jimmy. You jackass. Look, I'm being serious now. This is ridiculous. Jimmy Johnson had coaching acumen heading into Dallas, did he not? Was he not one of the best college coaches of all time?
Yes, national championship coach.
Are you guys joking?
And I don't trust college coaches coming to the NFL, but he did it.
Goodness me. Terry, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know how I can just convince the fan base to just wake up a little bit and maybe like kind of have some standards so you don't accept a Rod Marinelli, so you don't accept a Morty Morningwig, whatever the hell his name was. You don't accept a Matt Patricia. You don't accept Caldwell, who was average. You don't accept Schwartz, who was crazy psycho, and the moment he lost his cool, the team did, and that's why they lost so much. I mean, I don't get it. When do you just want to say, we have ourselves a John Harbaugh? We have ourselves a Sean McVay. When are you just going to hold this franchise accountable to be something other than pathetic? Because that's all it's been.
Because we're in love. Dude,
That's right, Terry.
Before Matt Millen got the job, if Bill Parcells called you and said, I want to help you out, I want to be part of the Lions front office, do you just hang up the phone with him, or do you say, come on, let's talk? Here, I'll give you. They hung up the phone on him. Say, no, thank you. We good. We're bringing in Matt Millen. And you know why they hired Matt Millen? Because he's a good guy.
I know.
Everybody likes Matt. I was at that press conference at the Pontiac Marriott, and all I heard, Matt is a great guy. You're going to like Matt. That's not a reason to hire somebody to run your football team. And he'll learn on the job because he's smart.
Terry,
that's why you hired him.
Terry, Dan Campbell was hired before Brad Holmes. And the decision was clear. Culture first. Which I'm not sure what culture they're trying to build because they've never built a winning one. But, okay, culture first. Whatever. On board. Where do we go from here? Because I want to be fair to Dan Campbell. I'm not going to call for his head this year. They could go 0-17, and I will sit up here and defend Dan Campbell and say, you shouldn't fire him yet. Wait for the offseason, see how it goes, and then by Thanksgiving of next year, you'll know whether or not he can actually coach. It doesn't take you 3-4 years to figure it out. It takes 3-4 years for idiots to figure it out, but you know right away if you have a good player or not. You know right away if you have a good coach or not. So, Terry, I don't know.
You know what we need to do? We need to get Brad Holmes, who did not hire
who wanted
Dan Campbell.
Brandon Staley.
We need to get some truth serum in him, either tequila or bourbon.
Do I remember the press conference correctly? It wasn't, we're going to come here and build a Super Bowl winning team, a division winning team. We're not here to change the same old Lions narrative. No. It's just we're here to build a winning football team. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah, that is the thing. The other thing from going to all these press conferences, here's the one word that you never hear at a Lions press conference: championship. Here to win championships. We're here to have winning football. Okay, 9-7 is winning football.
Thank you.
10-6 and losing the playoffs is winning football. But they never talk about winning championships or even being in position to win championships.
You guys are missing completely the boat of what me and Terry are talking about here. It's not that we're judging Dan Campbell based on the wins and losses. It's nothing to do with that. Guys, watch and go show me the significant advantage you have going into a week against any given team because Dan Campbell is your head football coach. So far, you can't give me one. And I hope to God by Thanksgiving next year, there is one, because that means the team is actually going to be a good football team. But Terry, I just don't see it. And I hope I'm wrong. But I don't see it. And I know I'll be murdered for it. And I'm a hater. And I know, guys. But I'm telling you, when you watch football as long as I have, and for damn sure as long as Terry has, you know when you got the guy. It's not hard. It's actually not hard. You'll know right away. And the problem is most GMs and most organizations won't admit their failures. And that's why they stick to it way too long. Look at the Cardinals. GM gets the number 7 overall pick, takes Josh Rosen, gets the number 1 overall pick the following year, says, you know what, I messed up. This guy sucks ass. I'm taking Kyler Murray. I'm taking Kyler Murray, and I made a mistake.
That would never happen here.
That would never, ever happen in Detroit. And that's why you passed on Justin Herbert. That's why you allowed the bozos you knew you were going to fire to draft number 3 overall and make your franchise's future decision and completely throw it away on a corner who, let's be real, is a total bust right now. Congratulations. That's what you get. So please, it's not about wins and losses only. What are you giving me on the field that is significantly better than other head coaches? I don't know what Dan Campbell gives me. And I hope he turns it around, but I don't see it.
I thought early in the season they had a few wrinkles offensively. Didn't always work, but I was like, okay, I see something different here. But now I think they just kind of given up. And
it's every week. I got to hold myself accountable. Got to hold myself accountable. Got to play harder.
Don't listen to that. Every coach, I think when they go to coaching school, what you have to do is you have to say, it's on me. I got to get my guys to play better. You
only say that when it's actually on you and you made a mistake. You don't say it every week when you're losing because, let's be honest, the players are going to look at you like, man, you suck, man.
No. Listen to press conferences across the NFL. Coaches always say that. I'm tired of hearing it.
Well,
wait, I'm sorry. One more thing, Kennedy. Why aren't we talking about golf being bad?
No, this is going to get you started way too much. A golf conversation right now is not going to get us to break.
All right, we'll talk about it
You're
later
right.
then.
You know I'm right.
But Goff's a bum. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL, guys. Don't worry, we know.
All right, well, we have to go to break, like I said. So we need to hear about our friends at Lady Jane's, who let these men look so lovely all the time.
All right, guys, you know where Jeff gets his haircut. You know where I get my haircut. Terry, I'm not sure where you get your haircut, but let's be honest. You probably should be at Lady Jane's.
In the shower.
We like simple stuff, Terry, like football 5 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, and may I remind you, it's wicked awesome.
Papa Romano's has a pizza that is pleased to meet you. The Mizza Pizza is a sizzling deal and fully loaded with pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, and bacon. Get a large Mizza Pizza for $16.99 at paparomanos.com.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Welcome back, you guys. We're going to pivot a little bit to a new coach. Well, not a new coach, but a different coach, Sean McVay, and his comments on Goff. I want to get Terry's opinion on this because we talked about it a little bit yesterday. But what were your thoughts when he came out and said, I didn't handle the Goff trade correctly? Do you have thoughts?
You know what I think? I thought, let's not create locker room material or bulletin board material before the Lions game. Let me take some responsibility for this failed quarterback. That's what coaches are taught to do. It was my fault. I have to take some blame. But I just think he said that because he didn't want to fire up Jared Goff. He didn't want to fire up the Detroit Lions. He didn't want to have this monster of a team coming in to L.A., which probably wouldn't happen anyway. But to me, it's just, okay, let's settle the dust. I don't want to start any stuff right now. But maybe next week I may say something different.
Again, all I'm asking for, and this should be every Detroit Lions fan across the board, all you're asking for is the organization to put together a good product that is stable. You know how you get rid of the same old Lions narrative, Terry? Over a 10-year period, you win 2, 3, 4 divisions, you win a few playoff games, maybe you get to an NFC championship, but you don't get rid of the same old Lions narrative by bringing in Mr. Rah-Rah Kumbaya. That's not how it works. You do it by winning. And you know how you win? You get the front office right. You get the head coach right, you get the quarterback right. Everything else plays out so much easier when you can just get the actual important positions down together. I know they want to build with an offensive line, but look how that's going in Cleveland. They don't have the quarterback. They have the GM. They have the head coach. They don't have the quarterback. They're struggling. Yes, they recovered from 0-16, but nobody is seriously considering them as AFC title winners anymore. It's just not a reality for the Cleveland Browns. Injuries now, their run game is decimated. Kareem Hunt, Chubb out and hurt. I mean, I'm not sure where to go with this anymore, Terry. I don't want to be unfair to Dan Campbell. I will give him the time he needs, but the time I'm giving him, I don't think it's the time that the Detroit Lions will give him. I'm giving him 1.5 years, 2 years. I think they give him way more than 3.
Oh, so you, next Thanksgiving,
I'm going to make a decision.
Make the decision whether he should stay or go.
Absolutely.
Well, I thought you were just going to evaluate him, but
I can tell by 1.5 years of a head coach if they're good enough or not. You knew after one game Matt Patricia was garbage. Losing to a rookie quarterback on Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
You knew it. You knew it wasn't going to work. After the first play of the game, you're like, oh my God, we brought in a defensive genius. And then the rest of the game, you're like, oh my God, we're still the Lions. This cannot happen when you bring in a head coach. You're now 0-6, probably going to finish 0-17 this year. You can't afford that. Bad teams, Terry, correct me if I'm wrong. Bad teams win 5 games in the NFL, don't they?
The way the NFL is set up, you should win at least 6 games. That's the way it's set up, even if you're a bad team.
And even if you're riddled, completely decimated by injuries like the Niners were last year, they won 6 games. With the backup quarterback, no running backs, no wide receivers, no defense. They still won 6 games. Where are the excuses there? Oh, wait. Baltimore's 5-1. Oh, well, Adam, they have a quarterback. They have a head coach. Oh, I know. That's the point. They have a quarterback. They have a head coach.
Here's the other thing to defend Dan Campbell. The Lions have never been a real organization. And you can't just look at the last 3 or 4 years and say, well, they didn't have this. It's been a bowling ball of decimation for years and years and years. Not to be rude, the conversations we have today, same conversations we had in the 1970s. Nothing changes. And, I have an argument with people, And sometimes I say the Lions are the worst organization in all of sports, not just the NFL. And, of course, the first thing Lion fan, no, that's not true. Okay. Who's worse?
The organization. It's not. I mean,
what's
where it starts.
What's a worse organization than Detroit Lions?
Nobody.
They'll bring up the Cleveland Browns.
Nope.
They'll bring up the Sacramento Kings.
Nope.
Who have
been to a conference championship.
Yeah, they
Excuse
have.
me. Who? I mean, there's nobody worse than the Lions. They consistently find a way to put out a bad product. That is incredible. I would trust a 4-year-old to take over the organization today and give him 60 years to figure it out. And I promise you he could figure it out more so than the Fords have since, 1950, I don't know, whatever it was. 1963, correct? When they bought it? So.
Well, it was official right after the Kennedy assassination.
Yep, the day of, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, listen.
That is bad.
Look, guys.
Karma. But I know someone who...
Are they cursed, Terry? I have this. I don't believe they're cursed.
I think saying the Lions are cursed are letting them off the hook.
Thank you. I think they're incompetent.
Now, have some bad things and unusual things happen? Yes. But for the most part, if you're a bad organization, if you're incompetent, bad things are going to happen.
Thank you.
That's the way it works.
They're not just incompetent. They're beyond incompetent. They are the most incompetent organization I've ever seen in my lifetime. And you want to talk about teams that are cursed? How about the New Orleans Saints getting cost a Super Bowl on a clear defensive pass interference call that wasn't called? Right. What about that? What about the Buffalo Bills are cursed? They lost 4 straight Super Bowls. That's a curse. That's pretty bad. Being garbage, bottom of the league for 60 years is not a curse. It's just incompetency. And the fan base... I really want to cut you guys some slack because you deserve a better product, but at the same time, some of the stuff you say makes you not deserve a better product, to be honest, some of these days. So I'm not sure what to tell you here. They just suck. They suck. I don't want to keep beating on them, though. I want to say they have a chance, but I don't. I want them to be good, Terry. I swear I do.
Okay.
I swear I do. But they got to take actual steps in the right direction, not just reactionary hires. They can't keep doing this. You have a bad head coach who is toxic. You bring in the guy who's overly bubbly and makes everybody feel good, but he can't coach a lick. How does that work? You bring in Brad Holmes, first-time GM. Very, very familiar with player development and scouting. Cool, I like it. But you need to surround him also with... I don't know, Terry. I could go on and on.
With Brad Holmes, you have to bring in the next great thinker instead of getting a retread. So I have no problem with that. And Dan Campbell,
again,
they
jury's out.
They need a guy like that.
But they need a guy that is willing to challenge the establishment. Like, I'm the head coach. I know how I'm going to build my football team. This is what I need you to get me. I need these kind of skill position players. I don't need the flashy guy. I need the guy that can run a 3-yard out route. That's what I need. I need the guy who can run the best simple routes in college. Go find me that guy, and I'll put out a winning product. That's a head coach you want.
That may happen this offseason. They wanted to build the line, which I respect that, but in short term, that's not going to work out. Long term, it could. So I think at least Brad Holmes is looking at the long term.
I trust him more than I trust Dan Campbell right now, but we got to head to break, don't we, Kennedy?
We do. So, you guys, I need to hear about Underdog Fantasy, but coming up next, you guys are itching for it. I see it in the chat. We're going to talk Red Wings. We're going to scratch that itch for you, but Underdog Fantasy.
Guys, the NFL season is underway, but you can still draft a new fantasy team each and every week. We're in week 7 now, and Underdog Fantasy has cash prizes for you to win. Using their slick mobile and user-friendly app and website, you can join a league and draft a team within minutes. Plus, if you deposit using code WSN today, they will give you a free $10. Again, sign up to Underdog Fantasy using code WSN, and they'll give you a free $10 when you make your first deposit. Download their app today, Underdog Fantasy, on the Google Play and the App Store.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Woodward Sports, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. As promised, you guys, Red Wings, they beat the Columbus Blue Jackets last night 4-1. And heading into the season, everyone was talking about Lucas Raymond. It's all we heard about, and he played such an amazing game last night, opening scoring in the third period for his first ever NHL goal, and then later on got that assist for his first ever multi-point NHL game. You guys. And obviously, we have to touch on the Bertuzzi Larkin, backing him up, jumping, what was his name, Roslovic, after he gets hit from behind. It was amazing. I loved the entire game. But your guys' thoughts on the Wings thus far? Adam.
I mean, 2-1-0, great start. Hot start for the Wings, good for them. Lucas Raymond looks really good. Young team, but I don't think it's a team that wins a lot this year. I think they're going to get off to a hot start, and like young teams do, they become inconsistent. They fall off. They get streaky. So right now they'll be streaky. Bertuzzi will score another 6-7 goals over the next week and a half, and he'll go scoreless for about a month. I mean, this is a young team. I don't expect much from them. Exciting to watch, but that's it. I don't have expectations for this team. I want to see the young guys get better. I want to see them grow and develop. And in 2-3 years, they move off of Blashill, bring in the guy, and then they actually bring back Hockey Town. I think that's how it plays out.
Okay, I wouldn't say I have no expectations for this team. I have expectations for this team to compete. I have expectations for this team to try to battle for a playoff spot, but I can't evaluate them yet. I need to see what they look like on the road. Young guys, sometimes at home, unbeatable. They got the home crowd. They get the home cooking. And so they're feeling good about themselves. But then you take them to a hostile environment. You take it where the other team is more fired up, and sometimes they wilt. So for me to say that the Wings have really got it going on, I need to see them perform on the road. I want to see what they look like away from the LCA.
Young team. I mean, they're going to struggle on the road. They'll be streaky at home some nights, but you saw with Tampa Bay what this team is really capable of. Goal scoring, they were efficient, but they're going to give up a ton of goals. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to be in the penalty box a ton. I mean, it's a young team. I'm going to enjoy watching them this year. From an expectation standpoint, I don't really have many. I think the only one would be, are they going to improve as a young team? Get better each and every day. And if they do that over a course of a year, I mean, they're going to be a team to probably, I want to say 35, maybe even 40 wins next year. I think if they develop enough this year. We'll see how Blashill does. But good for the Red Wings. What'd they win last night? 4-0, 4-1?
4-1.
4-1. The last empty netter made me laugh. I'm not going to lie. Terry, I don't know if you caught it, but Nemets, how do I say his name? Somebody help me so I don't jack this up completely. Long story short,
I was asleep.
Nemetsnikov.
What is it?
Nemetsnikov.
Okay, Nemetsnikov, right? Cool.
Good
Long
enough.
story short, Terry, he scores an empty net goal prior, right? He's skating up the ice. He has another opportunity to do it. What does he do? He passes it to his teammate, and he returns the favor because that teammate passed him on the first empty netter. So I thought it was like a good bromance moment last night. That was kind of funny. It made me laugh a little bit.
Well, that's cute. And, you know, set up your teammates, make them succeed, let them get a better contract next time. So that's cute.
I'm all for it. Luke, again, and it's the same in the NBA as it is in the NHL. You know, like year 1 or 2, if you have something special with a guy you draft high. Lucas Raymond looks legit.
Right.
He just does. Now, will Cade Cunningham look legit? I hope so. But we'll have to wait and see.
Mo Sider looks legit.
He looks solid, yeah. I mean, in 3 years, I think this team could have 4 of the 13, 14 best defenders in the NFL. Or, excuse me, the NHL. I really do. I mean, they're young. They're talented. They have goal scorers up and coming.
You say they have the 14th best?
No, they'll have 4 of the 14th best NHL
right.
defensemen. So I think these guys can develop and really be that good. I think they'll have a top 3 defender, a top 8, and then guys that fall in anywhere from 12 to 14. So
right.
I think
Steve
they're going to
Eisman
develop
is doing the same thing Brad Holmes is doing. He's building from the net out.
Yep.
Brad Holmes is building from the line out. Mm-hmm. So you got to give him time.
And again, you know, it's an 82-game season, so, you know, Blashill will develop players. But at least with Blashill, I know what his purpose is. His purpose is to develop players. Is Dan Campbell the guy that takes you to the next level, or is he the sheep herder who just walks the sheep across the street for you, and then you take over after that? I mean, I don't know. Again, it's early.
He should be the guy that's developing talent. He should be the guy, and maybe we need to look at this. We need to see if players from now who we say stink, if we're saying by this Thanksgiving, you know what, I see improvement. That's what Dan Campbell should be doing.
Terry, this is a perfect comment. How do you sit there and bash Dan Campbell, but you're just going to sit back and have fun watching Jeff Blashill in what, year 4 of a horrible team? They're a horrible team. They've been a horrible team. Last I checked, he came in with a good roster. They made the playoffs. They kept the playoff streak. They kept it going, and then they fell off. Yzerman comes in. They're actually rebuilding. You trust the Red Wings. They've actually delivered as an organization. So why should I trust Dan Campbell and the Lions? Why? Am I missing something here,
Yeah,
Terry?
what have they done? To answer your question, the reason that we're more harsh on the Lions is because they haven't done anything. If the Lions were an organization that, made the playoffs 3 out of 10 years, which bad teams do in the NFL, won a playoff game here and there,
which bad teams do,
then we wouldn't have these expectations. We wouldn't be this harsh on them. But they haven't done anything. Guys, where were you in 1991, Adam?
I was being made.
Oh, okay.
I was 3 years away from being made.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad blames me for the Lions, just FYI. I was born in 94, January.
I had a fro in 1991. I was at that game, and I was a young buck. Now I'm an old man. That's the last time they won a playoff game. That is ridiculous. And when you tell people outside of this market the Lions haven't won a playoff game since 1991, you know what you get? Really? They crack up. They can't believe that.
Terry, there are only 2 teams in the NFL to not have won a playoff game since 2001. I'm being generous. I'm only going back 20 years.
Okay.
The Cincinnati Bengals and the Detroit Lions. What's the difference between the two? One was able to put together multiple division-winning teams. Yes, they bounced out in the playoffs. I know Marvin Lewis wasn't the best coach, but you know what? They were at least division winners. And you could kind of start there. Their issues, and correct me if I'm wrong, was they were very cheap in free agency. They never went out and really went all in on any of their teams. They just relied on good coaching and
maybe
good
Marvin
quarterback.
Lewis stayed too long.
That too, to be fair.
His message grew stale then.
Yeah, but he was a good coach, to be fair to him. But, I mean, that's the Detroit Lions. That's the Detroit Lions. You want to compare since 2001 with the Red Wings? Multiple Stanley Cups. Compare them to the Tigers? Multiple World Series appearances. Compare them to the Pistons? NBA championship, 6-7 conference finals appearances. So be very careful how you want to come at criticism for the Detroit Lions, because my goodness, they deserve it.
But do you know why you get texts like that?
Because they love their
Because
Lions.
we're in love. We love our Lions.
There's nothing wrong with loving a team and loving a franchise. If you love them so much, you should hold them accountable for everything they do and don't do. That's it. All I'm asking for is an organization, Terry, that in a 10-year span wins 2-3 divisions, wins 2-3 playoff games. Maybe they were that good where they made an NFC championship game, but my goodness, can we just start with the division instead of, oh, we're 10-7, 10-6, 10-7, 9-7. Oh, we're okay. We snuck into the playoffs. Hey, it's better than being 7-9. I hate you guys, honestly. Have some standards. Like, you're basically rolling into the bar, you're drunk, and you're willing to walk away with anything that breathes. That's Detroit
what
Lions
does
fans right
for
now.
you, man.
That's what Detroit
Not
Lions
only
fans
are they in love, but they're intoxicated.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a. Do we have to go to break?
We do.
Okay.
But
what do we have when we come back?
When we come back, you guys can keep going on and on about this.
Well, I
Because,
want to ask him about Jim Caldwell.
Oh,
I
I
do.
like that. Okay. I can't wait. I love Jim Caldwell. I don't care. I don't care what Adam says. But you know what else I love? Pizza from our friends at Papa Romano's.
Guys, Papa Romano's has pizza that is pleased to meet you. I can't believe Jeff does this read every day. It's actually my favorite thing ever. It's the Pizza Pizza. I love this. This is amazing. Toppings: pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, bacon, and topped with a fresh blend of cheeses. I love this. Large Pizza Pizza starting at $16.99. Order online today at paparomanos.com. Guys, Pizza Pizza. It's cold outside. Get some protein. I love it. Who doesn't love pizza? Well, it's full of meat, Kennedy. I don't know why you're laughing. This pizza has
protein. It's cold
pepperoni, ham, Italian sausage, ground beef, and bacon. Like, that's a heart attack for me, but, I mean, guys, that's a great pizza. That's a great pizza. That's
a
delicious.
man's pizza.
That's a man's pizza. That's a pizza you have on a Sunday. I am so excited. You know what? I'm ordering one this Sunday. I'm going to tweet it out. That sounds freaking delicious. You guys are just laughing. This is delicious. Papa Romano's.
We're laughing at the way you're reading it.
Well, that's a you problem. Papa Romano's, guys. Again, paparomanos.com. Pizza Pizza.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning into the Morning Woodward Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We have some questions for the legend, Terry Foster. He's been around the block, the Detroit block, quite a few times. So now we want to know, is it the same old Lions? Is it, I don't know, reminiscent of Jim Caldwell? In my humble opinion, no, because Jim Caldwell actually won some games. But whatever. Adam, ask it how you want it to be phrased, because I don't want to jack this up for you. We got to hear it from
All right, Terry,
Uncle Terry.
let's rewind without hindsight.
Okay.
The Lions said 9-7 wasn't good enough, and they got rid of Jim Caldwell, a guy that was 4-23 with a 4-23 record against winning football teams. I mean, I don't want to talk just about Caldwell, but here's the decision making behind it, right? Bob Quinn wanted his guy, and he thought that his guy could actually take the team to an 12 win team.
Correct.
Now, that was the intention. Is that how it played out? Absolutely not. But that was the intention. And last I checked, that's kind of what you want from your organization. You want them to try and get better and better. And if this guy has a ceiling here, you want to try to find the guy that can take your team above that ceiling. So, in hindsight, the Caldwell move looks bad. But I want your thoughts prior to Patricia. What did you think and what did you make of Jim Caldwell football teams? Was it premature? And do you think even if he had stayed on another year or two that he probably would have been as bad as Matt Patricia?
He would not have been as bad. Jim Caldwell's teams overachieved slightly. And here's what I think would have happened if they would have kept him. Mediocrity. 8-8, 7-9, 9-7, that would be it. Maybe a 10-6 year. But bottom line, still would not have won a playoff game. Bottom line, would not contend for a championship. But maybe fans could feel better about their team and say, hey, we're 8-8, we're right there. But they would never get over the hump. The players loved Jim Caldwell. They wanted to play for him, but he wasn't the coach that could take a broken down roster and make it great. He could make it a little bit better, but he wasn't the guy that was going to take you
He was a more polished Dan Campbell. Is that fair to say? He was much more seasoned, had more coaching experience, understood how to get a locker room to really play, bring them all together. I mean, he was actually good. He was good, but he was never great. And great is how you get over the hump.
No, not a Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is the rah-rah guy.
Okay.
Jim Caldwell is like, I respect you. I know what you want, and I'm going to get that for you. He was more of the dad figure.
Okay.
And he was low-key, didn't curse, and treated men like men. And he thought that would get them over the hump.
Yep.
But any coach you bring here has to overcome the fact that the Lions are a bad organization.
And
Adam, here's where I'm not getting the analogy, the Jim Caldwell and the Dan Campbell one, because a lot of people's knock on Jim Caldwell was he played too safe. Oh, he was scared. Oh, yada yada. But
Dan
we're not
Campbell
seeing that
is
from
not
Dan
aggressive.
Campbell.
Listen, guys, let's stop with this narrative.
No.
The guy is playing with nothing to lose. When you suck, you go for it on every fourth down. This guy is not coaching a football team where you're expecting him to compete for a division, where he's going to go for it on 4th and 3 in his own 30. It's not going to happen. I want to see Dan Campbell be aggressive when it actually matters. And hopefully by next year he's in actually some meaningful games where him being aggressive actually not only pays off, but it makes sense. And it's something like, all right, I see him doing that in the future. Not like a Jim Caldwell who, 4th and inches in Dallas territory in the playoffs, decides to punt it to them instead of going for it.
Yeah, he
and on 4th and inches,
scared.
teams convert, 70-75% of the time? I like those odds. Listen, Caldwell was okay. He could never take the team over the hump, and you've never had a coach that can overcompensate, like Terry said, this Lions organization. Where's that great head coach? Andy Reid overcame the Philadelphia Eagles organization, yes or no?
Yes.
John Fox overcame the Carolina Panthers organization. You need a guy that can walk in and just change the winning side of the culture, not just... I'm walking around Allen Park right now. I'm feeling really good, man. Everybody says hi to me. I wake up, my pancakes are hot. Everybody's nice. Kumbaya. I got my 2 venti coffees. Has nothing to do with football.
And here's the other thing that you need out of Dan Campbell. It can't be every day that it is, they love me, the Ford ownership loves me, the players love me. No, sometimes you've got to go against the grain, and not necessarily in that locker room, but you got to look at management and say, hey, you know what? You're not doing it right. Here's how I want it to be done. And even if it's controversial, even if it ruffles some feathers, this is the way it's going to be done. They need a strong leader from their coaching staff to say, hey, y'all are doing it wrong.
Yep.
I'm going to do it right.
Not a guy
Here's
that
what
interviews. Not a guy that interviews by saying, "Hey, man, listen, I'm full of energy. I love this team. I love the city. We're going to buy kneecaps." You don't. That's not a freaking football coach. Jesus, wake up!
I'm your buddy. You're my buddy.
And we're going to do this together.
Out.
That's not how it works. It's not how it works. I don't get it. Answer this question in the chat for us, Terry, please, because I think people are still in denial about Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
How come Stafford never won in Detroit? If he was so great, why?
Okay, once again, what we're about to see play out is, I always believe Matthew Stafford's biggest flaw was he played for the Detroit Lions. When you look at what he's doing in L.A., yeah, he's balling out. But look how open Cooper Kupp is. Look at the innovative offenses you see. The dude, all he has to do is deliver the football. He doesn't have to be great. All he has to do is be very good. But when you put a good quarterback in a system that's flawed, he's not going to look as good. He can't win here because this organization. Once again, wake up! I want people to understand the roster is flawed, the front office is flawed, the management is flawed, the ownership is flawed. Matthew Stafford is not going to look as good in Detroit as he is in L.A.
Did you know he won 6 games against teams over 500 in his 12 seasons in Detroit? Only 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in his first year in L.A. with a good organization, a very good head coach, a very good roster, he's already won 3.
Right.
Get over yourselves. Your organization is a problem, and that's why he didn't win. Not everybody can overcome the Lions. It's proven. Nobody has. So you need to strike. You need to hit. You have to strike lightning, whatever the phrase is. You got to get the GM, head coach, and quarterback all right. And if you don't, you're just going to continue to be a bad football team. Kennedy?
All right, you guys.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I love having Terry here. But before we go, I need to tell you guys, because I'm a weekend planner, it's Wednesday. You got to know what you're doing on Friday. Friday Night Clash is here. This week's matchup is Detroit Martin Luther King versus Moeller, who is a team coming in from Cincinnati, so that'll be a lot of fun. So join Woodward Sports and the prep for that. Of course, it will be live streamed on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter Friday at 9 p.m. You guys, we have to get out of here. A big happy birthday to our guy, Jeff. He will hopefully be in tomorrow and not too hungover. Happy 21st birthday, Jeff.
Yeah.
Big D energy coming up next. They'll be Squad Deep with Joik Bell, Neil Rule, and D-Mac. This has been the Morning Woodward Show on Woodward Sports. Thanks so much for joining us, Terry.
We done already?
Yep.